Hello and welcome to the Chronicle Podcast. This is Samuel Lyon. I'm excited for this particular episode because today we have a powerhouse here on the podcast. It's someone that I'm so glad. I'm really glad to have on a first class graduate from the Nile University of Nigeria, a top tier front end engineer, and a visionary behind RefreeG, a
Referee.
crowdfunding platform that recently secured over 50 from the federal government for federal government in terms of like educational board. And I'm excited because he builds digital solutions to real world problems. Please, without even taking much of his time and your time listening and watching us on YouTube or live on Hello Media, please make welcome Chukwunomso Amadike-Unaogu. Welcome to the podcast, man. I'm so excited having you on here today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here today.
You know, all right. Welcome. So, I think I need to get people to back to like give them like the premise of we being here tonight. So I was fortunate because shout out to LinkedIn, a great platform. If you're not on LinkedIn, if you're a professional, whatever you're doing that this is something people want to buy. If you are selling, if you are giving service, like what we do on the podcast here, we give service, and obviously we hope to sell. But the platform has helped me connect with people that I know for sure I would have run into them in my everyday life. And it's the way talk about when you position yourself, something comes in. And I connected with the young man you're seeing on your screen, and we just had like a few hellos and highs there. Up until a couple of weeks ago, I reached out to him. I'm like, wow, I think I'm seeing what you're doing. I celebrate you, and often for young black entrepreneurs or young black founders or people that are working in doing something great. I always love to give people flowers. And I reached out to him and he gave me insights on what's going on. I'm like, I would love to communicate with you. I would love to have you on the podcast. And obviously, he had to schedule me for this. And he's like, "Okay, I think we should, reach out to me, a couple of weeks from now," which I did. And from our conversation, like, okay, could we be on the call? I've never done that with my guests. I tried to talk to my guests for the first time on the podcast, and here we were. 1 minute on to 30 minutes. I'm like, damn, we need to get this done as soon as possible before I start getting insights from you. And we plan to do this a couple of days ago. By the time you get to see this, that would officially prove that we've made it a success. And a day before we got to sit down here for this conversation, it was so funny. I had the whole setup done. I was ready. He texted it like, "Oh, something came up." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's get it on like 7 days from now." And I'm sharing this story because of what this particular situation, getting to do this with him, taught me. Sometimes you might be ready for something and something happen. What do you do when all the plans you have, is being put on hold? Do you just stay there and not do anything? And I almost didn't get this done. And I reached out to him like, okay, I think I have to push it way back up until we are seated here. And I'm like, I think we could make this work. I understand. I don't know how crazy it was for him, but it was really hectic. And I remember coming back to get this done. And I'm like, good. After everything I have been through, I can imagine what he had to go through to get to make this happen for us. I need to show up for him. And I was like, I need to get suited up. I need to look great. I need to be able to have a great conversation with him. And I just wanted to give you your flowers. Thank you so much, Nomso, for this opportunity because it's one of those things I don't really get to do often. And thank you so very much for making this happen. And without going on a long rant, which I've already done, I just wanted to tell you thank you so very much and welcome once again to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. So, yeah,
On
that's
family. Uh,
uh,
yeah, on family, I would want and everybody watching would want to know, like, okay, what about family? So, how would
oh,
you, in terms of taking us through, your childhood, walk us through it? What kind of childhood did you have?
I had a really calm childhood. I think
Okay.
I think okay. Let me even give a bit of backstory. based
Yes,
on how I
we love stories over here.
the
Yeah.
backstory of how I ended up in software engineering. Right from time when I was younger, I used to tinker a
Okay.
lot of stuff. I used to like break down stuff at home. Like all this,
Okay.
let's say there's a fan or a radio that has spoiled. I want to break it down and see it inside. I want to see the content. I want to see what makes it tick. You get
I
so
don't, I don't like NOMSO wait. NOMSO wait. When you say that, you bring, I know there are a lot of people that will watch and people that will listen. You'll be like, huh? He broke down radios and was like, pause,
no.
hold that thought. No, everyone be like, oh, because now I would not look at you, I'm like, it doesn't look like you look younger, yeah. So let's
Mm.
broaden this up for me. Are you a 90s baby?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because
I think
as
you
the
see
the last
ask
of the
when you
90s,
ask
we have broke down radios and
yeah
broke down fans to get to, so
no
hearing
see
you,
when
you look way younger to me.
yeah I am not in 90s. I'm actually 2006. I'm 20 years old.
Holy fucking shit. Now so
So
how would you
no by radio,
damn,
when there's like all
sorry.
this old stuff lying around that my grandparents have. You understand? So it's not as if I
Yes.
had the radio. The radio
Yes.
was there, so I carried my legs and went like this just to see because it wasn't working.
I
So,
wasn't accusing you
so
of having radio. Me, I was like, you would expect, you would expect a 2.6 baby, or yes, the Gen Z baby to be running around with radios. Like I'm expecting, we used to go to Game Cave, we PS a lot.
yeah.
So I'm like, so here you saying, huh? I'm like, he looks way younger to be a
I'm just
90s baby. So thank you for clarifying that for me. His grandfather
yes,
had a radio, so he was just going to play around grandparents' things. Yeah,
so
sorry for
yeah, I used to
interrupting you.
think
I just wanted to clear that up.
yeah, so I used to think and then the whole basically what it led up to was curiosity. Yes, just like building things from
Yeah,
okay. Let me give an example. There's a time that I took a bicycle that was at home. I I said I wanted the bicycle was okay, oh, but I said I wanted to fix it. So like I
yeah,
loosened the gear and tried to like screw it back, like everything back. And I was able to deal with some help, sha, but over I got it that day. Like I was like, I received it that day. Like my person just asked why, like why. Although they understood, sharp, but because right from time they always know that oh, okay, this boy he's a curious person you get. So basically
yeah.
what led up to the whole software engineering thing when I entered university. Yeah, and if I might add, the no software engineering. Okay, let me not. I think maybe I'm yapping too much at the beginning, but let me just say now because I might say later. No software engineering is
Mhm.
really broad. There's game
Yeah.
development, app development, web development,
Okay.
desktop app, and there are a lot of things under it. So the one I do is web, like RefreeG is a web app right now.
Okay.
So I also desktop apps too. So it's the underlying principle is just problem solving. And let's say, okay, you want to build a website for a client. What at that point, what you're looking at, you're not even looking at the technologies per se. You're just trying to solve a problem for somebody. You get
Yes.
the HTML, CSS, React, Next.js, the whole tech stack doesn't matter because you're trying to solve a problem. So you need to know at the end of the day, the tech stack are the tools used to solve the problem. You need to understand the problem. That's why I say problem solving. It's not just like you said tech bro now. It's not just about the tech. It's about like now, okay, if I want to let's say solve 2 plus 2 or 4 plus 4 now, and there's Python language, I can do that using Python, writing it on my computer. That is, I'm using Python to solve that. At the same time, I can just
Uh,
write the syntax for it, the um is it the algorithm for it? I can write it on a piece of paper. Let x equals to 2. Let y equals to 2. Let x plus y equals to z. Blah 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 blah. That is just the algorithm you get. It's a step by step process. So that's why I said problem solving. So it's not really about
mm,
you said tech bro. I'm sure maybe you have a stereotype about like people in tech, but It's just at the end of the day, to me, so the underlying thing is problem solving, and the tools are what you use. Sorry, the technologies are what you use to solve the problem. So yeah, NOMSO is a problem solver. Right from time, I try to solve problems, and that's what we're doing with refugee right now.
Sorry, Nomso, don't kill the messenger here. I'm just a middleman trying to service
Yes,
the guests
service
and the
audience.
viewers and listeners.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'm just giving them doing this the fan service here because obviously they're like, oh damn it, Samuel has gotten a tech bro on the podcast, so they might just want to get all arms in. And I'm like, no, 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 no. He's not gonna give you all the. I'm not gonna let him come up here and be giving all the PR, BS.
Mm.
We want to get in on everything. But like, because I'm still obviously I like digging deep into the family structure. So are you like the only kid
No,
from the
no,
family, or you have
I
siblings?
no, I have siblings. I have two younger brothers, so I'm the first. So yeah,
So you have two younger
yeah,
people after you.
yeah. So three in total.
So three in total. You are the first child.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
two younger people, they boys or mixed?
Two boys, like all boys, like three boys, all boys. So 2 year gap
Damn.
between each of us. So yeah, all boys.
Yeah. So, is your parents, are they still going one more round? Is this going to happen again because they've shut down the
Uh,
market?
it's done, one and done.
It's done.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
are okay with the three boys.
yeah, yeah. We thank
Hmm.
God.
How does it? That feels like a crazy question to ask. But how does it feel? Being the because you are supposedly the leader of the pack. So how does it feel like being like the?
Oh,
Are you
first,
feeling the? Are you feeling the crazy act of like, oh, it's the first. It's my elder brother is the first son and all of that. Like, are you feeling it already? Because already you're in your 20s. So this
oh,
is where the it gets amped up. Is it already coming in, or are you still in your honeymoon phase?
let's just say honeymoon phase, small, small. I'll say like
Sharp.
that, small.
In relationship has evolved. So I wanted to. I'm always trying to get into this question with my guests. I'm like, what's your take on expectation? Are they? Is this supposed to be? Is this something that is a valid choice in your own like in your own
Um,
POV?
in
Expectation a
my
valid
point of
choice in today's relationship?
okay, so there are three. Let's just take it as there are two, as there's like friendships, and then we have family. In general, I
Yes.
believe when if I'm your friend, if you're my friend, I expect certain things from you. You understand? Like basic respect is
Okay.
expected. You understand? Even friendships in general, like as human beings, you don't know me, I don't know you. You're
Mm,
not like based on the fact that we are
okay.
both human. You accord me the basic respect of humanity. You understand? So that's
Yes.
like that is an expectation of respect. And plus also when let me think of another example. Let's say that you're in a situation now with a friend now, and the situation like okay, let's say both of you are meant to go out together later.
Yes.
Both of you are meant to go
Mm,
out later, and then some people would expect like if one friend has a car and the other does not have a car, and they are like they are close by. Let's say the houses are not far from each other. Some people will expect the one that has a car to go pick up the other one, but it is different in different friendships and relationships. Some people don't like the person that has a okay person B that doesn't have a car.
yes.
Some people will not want to stress their friends. Some people will just ask, bro, if you come pick me when you dey come, like when they go that
Yes.
side, just branch my side. While some people will think that it's their right that oh, based on the fact that we're friends, you're meant to come pick me. You get so if that's what
Yes.
you're asking for expectations, it's different for like different friendships. But from my point of view, like if you're my friend, sure thing, you can ask me. And I believe that I should be able to ask you that, oh, can you do this for me? Because of the fact that we are friends. I won't ask a stranger that question. You get, I won't ask a stranger to
Yeah.
just like somebody I just met yesterday to just come and, oh, I mean, if they come this side, if you just branch speaking or I think just join. I wouldn't ask that, but the fact that you're my friend means I'm comfortable enough to ask that. So that's the expectation. And with with family now, well, family is basic, like is expected. Certain things are expected of you.
And I think and I need to say thank you because sometimes when we have guests coming here, I gauge them, I see how, because you might have come here with your own expectation and then you come in because you have not, I'm not telling you how it's gonna go. And here you are being thrown into like, oh, I mean, come on, I don't really think it. Sometimes you would not even think of like, I'm gonna answer something like that. And then that's where the real personality shows. That's where you can see the person behind, the character that you were expecting to see. And I love how you took time to break that down for me. But I'm gonna tie this back to you. You'd mentioned while in the beginning of this podcast how talking about RefreeG, how you
Uh,
got a call from your friend that was in your 300
uh,
level, 200, and at that time, obviously, that states that you were still in school, and seeing how you've been able, first of all, congratulations on wrapping up school, and right now you're actually serving the country right now, take the code as you might want. But like in terms of getting a first class degree, it requires a whole lot of perfectionism. And perfect is one of those words. Perfectionism is one of those what people try to shy away from. Like, "Ah, nobody can ever be perfect," but we all know that like there's no way you want to be the best if you are not aiming for perfection. Now, ego is another thing, pride is another thing, confidence, all of those. It's a whole lot of, it's a broad stuff, just like the expression and choice you just finished breaking down for me. But building a startup, startup something like a website like this, maybe turn it, I believe it should be going to getting being an application, right, and an app. It requires making mistakes and figuring things out on the fly. Could you take us back to the moment where your friend called you and like, oh, this is what
okay.
we want to do, this is the idea, refugee, and all of that? And also in terms of your academics, because I believe at this point you have to think about, I have those 7 goals to come in here and come out here the best, and here you have something like this on your lap. Let's go get this done. What was that call like, and how was the process? Take us through that journey for refugee. Yeah.
So it wasn't really a phone call. It was more of, this is my friend, as in you can just walk up to me and ask me. It doesn't need to be formal. You understand? It's not a whole formal. It wasn't something
Yeah.
formal based on memory. Web memory serves me right. There was a competition, SDG goals. You know the SDG goals from
Okay.
yeah, the Sustainable Development Goals. So basically there was a competition and we needed to create. We wanted to apply for the competition. Our lecturer encouraged us to apply
Okay.
for that, you understand? And that was when my friend suggested the idea. It was like, bro, this guy is on board. Um, Raj is on board. Hassan is on board. Salisu join us so we can build the store. So, yeah, and at that point, it's a bit scary because me, I'm actually a pretty conservative person with things I do. I don't take unnecessary risks. I don't take gambles because like I like knowing the outcome from the beginning. Although you can't really know the outcome from the beginning, but I believe you can predict something to an extent. And I want to be able to predict if let's say it's 100, I want to at least know 70 before I do something. You understand?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's it. But now that was then, but now I'm more open to yeah, I promise you that video
I was about asking, does that have anything to do with your personality or growing up and all that shit? But yeah, you.
building startup has that thing has changed me. But back then I was like I was just asking questions. I was like, bro, you just say this thing will feel work. You just say like this. But things that you would
The
not know if
classic Nigerian.
you don't try. You understand? We
Yeah.
wouldn't and we just started building and we got some validation from our lecturers, we got validation from some of our friends. because it was the whole point of building was to just show proof of work that this thing can work in the real world. You get, and then we had a competition in our
Yeah.
university. Won. We won the competition, so it was really nice to win. And like when you just start doing things and you start receiving that external validation, although you don't really focus on that, but people say don't focus on external validation, but me, I'm going to tell you now, if people from outside are saying you are doing well, better do like this. Say yes, thank you, I'm doing well. Don't try to do that. Like some people do that humble thing that you try to put yourself down and be like, oh no no no, oh no whining, no whining. If I tell you that you are doing well, thank you, thank you for telling me, thank you for seeing what I'm doing, thank you. So yeah, that external validation
Mm.
and proof of work, like helped us a lot. And coming to academics, like when your when your video starts off in school, like we had to well we used to attend classes but let's say we have a competition and like a pitch and like we have
Yeah.
a class that same period. um okay, let me give you the only time I remember something like this happened was we had a pitch and we had a class that same period. So we had a
Ooh.
presentation in fact, and that presentation carried heavy marks. So what we did was we told our lecturer beforehand that, oh ma, because then again we also, there's this thing I call when things just start falling in place for you. Because what are the odds of me having a nice lecturer that that period? Yet
That
what
would
are the odds?
allow you go for a personal thing when it's
So we just
mm,
we just and let me say this now. All like the guys in refugee, all of us are in software engineering. Um, yeah, as I
oh,
then we're in
amazing.
software engineering department. So like we just went spoke to her like, oh ma, please after our presentation, could you excuse us for the date because we have a pitch to present. So could we present now, like do the presentation in class? So we presented and then she
Okay.
allowed us to class. So that is what I say like when things just start falling in place for you because it could have gone any
And
other way.
that's kind of like sorry to cut you off, but that's one of those things where you like kind of like it's kind of like it bring a little bit of bravado because you're like, okay, so we got to present first and we got to leave, and they able to know that they are going to get something professional. Like,
I, would,
oh
I
yeah,
didn't,
like the
we
whole
didn't even present
craziness.
presented like second or third, but we shall presented and got it over with
I know because
and
a lot
we
of people will
left.
be looking like, okay, who are those ones?
But right from time,
Those
right from
crazy.
time, right from time, the way my department was software engineering is that like it was, I would say it was a closed circuit. A closed circuit is a situation whereby information is flowing in a circle. You understand? So it's not as if they didn't know
Okay.
my company
Oh,
about refugee. Like we always used to talk about refugee because the people you sell to first and people around you. So we always tell people, oh, if you have anyone trying to raise money,
yes.
use refugee. If you have a charity, tell them to use refugee. Tell them to do this, tell them to do that. So we're just doing that. So yeah, they knew
Yeah.
about refugee and
Yeah.
yeah. So the back to the academics part, I won't say it really affected building a startup at the same time because like as I said, the guys in refugee, all of us are in the same department. You understand? So as we're in the same department now, we're
Yeah.
seeing each other in class every day. So if we're building something, I don't even like it's not as if somebody is in here in Abuja, another person is in Lagos, another person is in Enugu that have to be calling you to do a task. Like, bro, I go jam you for class. You understand? I'll go and walk up to you and be like, have you done this thing? Like,
Yeah.
and this we are friends. So that's another unfair advantage we had. And by unfair advantage are those things that are not really that are just like personal to personal to you. Let's say you want to start
Yes.
content now and you have a 17 Pro Max. That's your unfair advantage. Somebody that has like
You
a
are
10
edge over every other person. Yes.
exactly. That's so use your unfair advantage to your advantage. So that was our unfair advantage. We're in the same department, we knew each other and we were friends, so it was easier. We didn't have to go out to start looking for people to come join us and like to get this stuff
Yeah.
done. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so in terms of what people are trying to do with the app RefreeG, being crowdfunding is an incredible incredibly emotional thing. People are coming to your platform to find help, seek for help. Others are coming in to give their support and earn money. It's a detail oriented front end. As a detail um oriented front end developer, this is going to be important to you. How do you design an app that doesn't just function well, but actually makes people feel safe, trusted, and in terms of like the empathic side of things, they understand, okay, this is what, and they can actually believe in this app. And talking about RefreeG, I understand it's your friend, it's your guy. Adeze reached out to you and you people had a conversation and all of that, but like Adeza, so, oh my goodness, they will butcher me. I'm sorry. Days, I'm sorry. So like in terms of like refugee, why refugee and the name? The I don't know if you have the autonomy to speak on this, but I could. As a point, I was like refugee. I was like refugee. So like I was like, oh, refugee, refugee. I have a lot. My head was spinning a whole lot. So I wanted to like get in or write down the segment of the podcast to talk more on RefreeG. Why this initiative? Why did you, of all the
Yeah,
apps to think of opening, why was it this one? And why is it about helping people? Why is it about like people oriented? Because it shows a lot about the kind of people that you are wanting to do something like this. And in terms of like, GoFundMe, go do all of those things, we don't really, something like not something that really flows well in the country, although
Africa.
it's being used. So understanding how to Africa as a whole. So in terms of like understanding, this doesn't really have the market, but you are bold enough to want to go something like that, and then instead of like helping people, it's a whole lot. I know it's a broader. So I want you to take your time to break down everything for me and this. So NAMSO, why refugee?
Why refugee? Refugee is slash was slash is being built on the idea of giving. I want when you think of refugee, you
Yeah.
think of when you think of trying to raise money, you think of refugee. That should be the first thing that comes to your head.
Yes.
That's the first thing that comes to the head of
Mm,
Nigerians. That's the first thing that comes to the head of Africans. So basically, why people are trying to raise money to fund certain things. Let's say to go to school, to buy a new phone, to buy a podcast equipment, to set up your studio. And there's a trust factor involved because, truth be told, we live in a low trust society. Nigeria is a very low trust society. If somebody comes out on the internet and starts trying to raise
yes.
money for something, saying that, oh, that I'm trying to raise money for this, people will not want to donate to you. Not because they are not good people, but because they are very skeptical and they want to know what their money is being used for. You understand what I'm saying? So that is
Mm,
the backbone of refugee
yes.
trust. We're trying to build a system whereby if a cause is on refugee, you know that it is vetted, it is trustworthy, the money is going to be used for what it says it will be used for. You understand? And yeah, that's the
Yes.
whole point. It's a social impact platform. It's a social impact service to
Yes.
give to people to allow you want to raise money to buy to get a studio, to get studio equipment. You can use refugee, create a cause on refugee, then people will donate to your cause because it is on refugee. You understand? And for me as a donor, if I want
Mm,
to, if I see your cause, if I want to support you, support your initiative, support what you're doing, I would donate to you on refugee. So that is it. It is basically giving, giving. That is it. So yeah, yeah. You asked me another
so
question. I didn't.
yeah, it was a two-part question. It was like in terms of like designing this app, in terms of like you being like the front end developer, like
Yeah.
why was this
So
like, because obviously you can see, yeah, ideas. I'm like, oh, why did you join in? Because obviously I know it's from your guy and all that. Like I know that you stated that clearly, but it's more of like there's something like, oh, about like helping people. And I think that speaks to the core of the human beings, that
yeah.
the minds behind this app and everything. So
Um,
I feel if there's anything anybody listening or watching would want to know is like, why was this the application to launch? Why was this a website to want to build on? Or why is some, because you're currently still building it? Why is it like, why this?
Okay, so why refugee? Okay, let me answer the first question. The first question you asked is we design for how we design to make people feel empathetic, or as a front-end developer, what is the thought process behind that? Basically, it's a user-first design. It's a user-centered design. It is not for fellow tech bros to come and, there's a way that, let's say I'm building an app, just to get to the validation of the tech bro I look up to. I would do this, add features that are not even necessary, just for him to be like, guys, you bad. Nah, we don't do it that way as refugee. Refugee is
Yeah.
user centered. It is
Okay.
for the average. If you come onto refugee, you should just, in fact, with only one scroll, you should know what you're doing. You should know what the application is about. Then two scrolls, you should have made a donation. Three scrolls, you should have
Okay.
created a port. That is the only. It is user centered. You understand? And the whole point of giving,
Mm.
giving. So you say it's at the end of the okay. Let me say at the end of the day, in the beginning, it speaks to the to the human nature in general. I believe that human beings are social creatures, you get, and if you see somebody in need,
Yeah.
you would like want to help the person. Refugee is just a middleman, a service to help people. And as I've said before, because we live in a low trust society, people are really skeptical
Yeah.
about helping other people. You understand? So refugees need to make that easier for you to donate to people, for you to donate to people that want to creative. We have refugee for creators, we have refugee for businesses, we have refugee for non-profits. Understand? We have refugee for disaster, refugee for emergencies. So basically,
Yeah.
refugee is the middleman for giving. Like not to say that you can't you can't just like let's say why use refugee. Let me ask that question because I'm sure maybe the user watching this or the future user
Yeah.
that was thinking of
We'll be
after
like,
this, like
why should I trust them?
why should I even trust refugee? I'm not even saying you should trust us because you don't even know me. You just met me on this podcast. I'm not even talking about you, Samuel. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
person watching this
I know
now.
any watching and listening. Yes.
You don't know me. So everything I might be saying might be lamba, might be lies. I might just be whining you to collect your money. But I'm not doing that. I assure you I am not doing that because there are people we have helped with refugee. In the Christmas of 2024, we raised 100,000 naira for an orphanage in Abuja. We've done Ramadan drives. This money goes directly to these people. You understand? And it is there on the platform. So these are things that you can see there on our social media. We even tag the orphanages. We do collaborations with non-profits. You understand? So if if you don't want to trust
Yes.
refugee, or at least you can trust the good that refugee is doing, the good that refugee has done, and the good that refugee will keep on doing. So yes, that's why you should use refugee. And that's I'm not saying don't trust us, but trust refugee. Trust refugee, we take it really seriously. It's part of the brand. Trust, as I've said, trust is the backbone, credibility is the backbone. So yes, it is part of the brand. So that's why you should use refugee. Yeah. I think I've answered all the questions you asked. Why?
And for you, I believe you have done a nice job doing that. And right now, listening to you, I'm seeing myself watching this YouTube. I'm just you watching this on YouTube, listening to this on Spotify, and I believe for most viewers and listeners, the first thing I want to mind, like, okay, so I understand that we have to believe them and join in and maybe use this, have find somebody to use it, and we are getting to raise this money and all of that. Are you people solely? Is there any way? Because is one thing, somebody coming in to want to raise help, use the app and the website, the app to do something great and all of that. Are you people also, do you people have the autonomy to follow up on if what the reason, the some purpose of them
Yeah,
wanting to use the app for? Like, let's
yeah,
just say Samuel Lyon wanted to raise money for his first ever live podcast conference, and I'm like, oh, we've put in the budget, we don't pass my head, I need support. RefreeG is the app I'm using, and then people start supporting me. Oh, something like it was one, and then I am people start supporting, putting their added money. Is RefreeG going to follow up on me to make sure that that event went through? We did that, and make sure that they are following up me. The event was done, they know that the money was used, and then they get back to the audience like, okay, so yeah, we're even able to see, we even sent some people to go there to see if it really happened. So
Yeah.
how would this work? Those are the things I used to ask. I
So,
want to ask them, like, because
so
it's not just, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, go on.
So it's RefreeG has an update feature whereby you drop update pictures based on what you've been doing with the money that's been released,
Okay.
and there's like, yeah, so there's an update. You have to drop updates. It's part of the system. You have to drop
Sharp.
updates what you're using, like pictures and what you've done with money. And right before your course is even created, we take our time to do KYC, number one. We vet that cause in particular. We look at your profile because we need to avoid fraud on our platform because
Oh,
it is very
yes.
bad for the brand to have fraudulent causes. Let's say somebody says that okay, they want to pay us sleep hospital bills. Next thing you know, they are using the money to buy. That's bad for the brand. It means refugee enable
Mm,
that. And we can't be doing that. It's bad for the brand. So what we do is we have updates. Every milestone you have to drop an update what you're using the money to do. You understand? So yeah, we keep on working on ways to further tighten the let's say tighten the cap in such a way that it will be very hard for people to use to create fraudulent causes on refugee. And and before you even create a cause on refugee, as I've said, we do KYC. Once you create your account, we're going to verify your account. Then, if you create a cause, let's say you say, and let me also say this now because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Refugee is not just for charities. As I said, for if someone wants to raise money to buy a car, you are free to use refugee because if somebody wants to raise money to even buy, let's say, buy a phone. Use refugees want to buy a 16 Pro Max. Use refugees to raise money because you can't control what donors want to do with their money. Like you now, Samuel, if you say you want to donate to somebody that is trying to buy a new camera, I can't stop you because you want to do that. You understand? At the end of the day, the person has to do what the
yeah.
person say you do with the money. But there's only so far we can control that. You understand? There's only so far, but we try our
Okay.
best to tighten it up to make it very hard. So yeah, I think I've answered the question as
Amazing.
best as
Amazing. Trust me, you are making it happen. So, so this all led up to March 29, 2026. I first of all, months ago, I think a month before that, you guys were able to, win the prize of ₦1 million from your university, now university, for your app. And then fast forward to March 29, 2026, the Federal Ministry of Education was able to, give a grant of 50 million. Like this is wild to me. For young people. Like this is you in your room almost 2 years to the day. Somebody, your friend calling you, oh boy, I think it's go time. This idea just pop up. Milkweed. Let's go in. Oh boy, it's work day to do, and then you are just doing this thing like I believe. Oh, we are trying to use our software engineering techie this thing to get things done, and here you are in the office. Being talk crazy. Like I'm just sitting there going through this, and I'm like, this is wild to me. Could you take us through the journey of building? You've already built all of this, and then like how is this I believe you should be part of the conversation. Like how is this conversations? How do we even get to the Federal Ministry of Education, talking about this and getting this kind of grant, and like what just my mind is blown. Could you just walk me through this?
so we won that million from our university a year ago. We won it a
Yes,
year.
yes.
So I don't know. So how these things happen is when we see these competitions, when we see in fact, people are already seeing the winnings. We lost a lot. Oh. We lost a 3 million naira competition 2 weeks before we won that 50 million naira own. So a lot of L's we take behind the scenes, but nobody comes online to talk about the L's. But I think I have to say it now to the people watching this, we don't win every time. It's very important you
Yes.
understand that
Yes.
people on the internet, including us, really post the wins. Nobody will come outside to talk about the L's because nobody's interested in the losses. Like losses are not a conversation starter. It's only the win that is a conversation
Mm,
starter. Uh, but I think it's necessary to tell you guys that we lose I won't even call it losses per se, but we don't get what we want every time. There are some pitches we've applied
mm,
for some competitions, we've gone there, we spoke, they didn't accept us, or we're not as good as the other people that were presenting to. So yeah. But how these things happen is in fact I think we've done up to I think I can say 10 in the past year, or if not more than that, because you know it's just like how will I say it now? There's a way I want to explain. There's an analogy I want to use, whereby you keep on trying. Like that saying, a moving man will always meet his luck. A moving man will
yes.
eventually.
Moving man
So
always find his
if
luck. Yes,
if
because
you
you are
just
moving.
because you're moving, let me tell you something. Once you're moving, like this is a year. Like okay, March made it a year. Sorry, April made it a year since we won the 1 million from
Yes.
our university. A lot of things have happened then. Do you know why? Because we kept on moving. If we just decided to sit
Yes.
down, not coming to meet us now. So actually, now that I think about it, in hindsight, we've actually come a long way in just 1 year because
Yes, you are.
almost
Yes,
like
you are.
because like and the way these things happen, sorry, the way this type of conversations happen, like behind the scenes with the team is that okay, well, there's this competition that we need to prepare for, or we need to like switch off the
Mm,
app for the judges that will review it. We need to make sure the users have it right. We need to practice our pitch that will present on stage. In fact, it was Adeza that went to Lagos to represent us for that 50 million naira competition. It was Adeza that went to Lagos for that. So there are lots of things that go behind the scenes. Then after we package it, we then present it on LinkedIn as a post for people to see. But then people don't really know the sleepless nights, the coding that is happening in the
yes.
night. But I think I've written code up to like 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. I was trying to fix a bug. So a lot of things happen. It's just that people are not interested in the work that is done. Like apart from
And I always be personally for me. Sorry for to cut you. Like personally,
yeah,
I'm always like I see the highlight reel. I'm like I always like forget the highlight reel. I want to like get to know the inner girls. Like you were writing, codes here and there, debugging and all of that, and like it's a whole lot. People don't really take into account like that impact of like damn, you had to go through all of this craziness just to get
exactly,
something.
exactly. People don't people just want to skip the line, go to the front. You cannot do that. It has never been done and it will never be done. And that's the thing about being a moving man. When you're a moving man, even if you don't get to where you want to be, you're way away from where you started. Let's say I'm trying to get here and I start from here. Even if I don't get here, eventually I'll get here, sir, but even if I don't get here yet, I'm like way away from where I started. Like I'm far away from where I started, and that is still good. It is progress. And just keep on moving. So that's the thing. Just be a moving man. That's my advice to the audience. Be a
And
moving man. Be a moving woman.
you said
Just
you said that perfectly because truth is here you are like, oh fuck, I can't see myself moving past this. I can't ever, like, but the truth is if you keep moving, even if you still find yourself in this same spot, I feel there will be something in you that will say that it's better. You will feel a little bit change, more like, oh, at least I not sit
exactly.
on my ass, and not do anything. So if I were to ask you this, what would you say to somebody that is just there? They have something to do. Maybe a friend has already called them. Oh, can you hop on this idea with me? Or they are the ones that have the idea and they just don't know how to start. Oh, I just don't
Yeah.
want to fail. I'm seeing all these highlight reels. of my own friends doing things and all of that. What would you tell somebody right now that is just there about to like, oh, I just want something that can move me to do it? Like, what's that advice from NOMSO to somebody like, if you are somebody listening that's
I
watching it,
would
like, I just don't know how to get that.
I would say just do it. Just do it. You know why? Because you
Mm,
never know to do it. And in fact, 7 you will fail or you might fail. More often than not, you will fail because like you're just starting. Sometimes you might get lucky and it will work once. But when you do it, you have more experience than the person that just sat down thinking. Get out of your head. Don't overthink it. Just do it. If it's just to open the if it's just to send a message to that friend that you know that can help you, send the message. If it's to do it
mm,
alone, that. But I wouldn't advise to do it alone. You need to surround yourself with producers. You know there are producers and consumers. Consumers are people that are just always
yeah,
clicking, clicking. You need producers too. But then I need to say this. Let it not be as if I'm a hypocrite. Consumers have to exist for producers to exist. It's a balanced society. So I would advise that you surround yourself with producers to make it easy for you to build what you want to build. You understand? So I would say just start what you're trying to build. You understand? Just build it and then you know where to take it from there. You know, earlier in the show I mentioned that RefreeG's idea, we've refined it a lot since we started. We refined it a lot, and
yeah.
that's because we
It kept
started.
up.
And we wouldn't even know that we were meant to refine if we didn't find the problems. And for people that okay, this advice is specific for people that have a startup. And not only a tech startup. Let's say you have you're trying to sell cake, or you're just trying to sell food, you're trying to sell lip gloss, you're just trying to sell something. Try and get feedback as fast as you can. Fail fast. Then put it like that. Fail as fast as you can. But when you fail fast, you get feedback fast and you can solve the problems faster. You understand? And if you're selling lip gloss now, you make homemade lip gloss and you sell it, and then your first customer say, "Oh, it's too sticky." Then you've gotten feedback, you know what to refine. But if you just sat down here in your head thinking that, oh, what if it doesn't work? Of course it won't work because you just sat down. In fact, it's never about what if it doesn't work. You've already failed because you didn't stand up to do it. You understand? It's even with this your podcast now. If you didn't start, you wouldn't know that you could actually do it. You couldn't solve certain problems that things as so I would say to anyone that has something in their head, get out of your head. It is very important you leave your head. Get the idea out of your head, put it in the world as fast as you can. You understand? Once you put it in the world will handle the rest. The wheel will just keep
Yeah.
on rolling. And eventually you might feel tired. That's why I said surround yourself with producers. Surround yourself with people that will just be like, oh, yeah, let's just do it. Let's get it over with. And yeah, that's my advice to people. Be a moving man. If you take anything from this show, be a moving man, be a moving woman.
Be able show up. It's not sweet out there. The highlight reel is not really sweet out there. But I love the fact that I keep showing up and I showed up for this podcast and just show up for yourself. Do it. And he talked about creating people, producers. He talked about producers and consumers. At the end of the day, we're trying to say that create a village for yourself, have a crew, have even the Son of Man, Jesus, gathered boys. He came and like, come on, we need fishermen, we need tax collectors, he gathered everything. Everything was even Judas, haters, Instagram TikToker was inside that crew. Judas was there, somebody that makes deals outside, to sell things. Everybody was in that crew. He created every so if he could, see that there's a need of a village. I know we live in a scary times where people are like, I don't want to trust anybody. You don't have to trust everybody, but you need somebody. So anyhow who that person is to you, you have the answers to that. Go figure out your answers, and I'm so easy to tell you. I mean, if you don't want to take it from me, the podcast that you watch and listen to, you can take it from a 4.84 CGPA first class from Nine University. He knows what he's talking about. So yeah.
Woo!
I mean, come on. I mean, he didn't just that didn't just fall on his lap. I mean, come on, he had to work for that. So if you don't want to take it from me, take
For
it from
real
him.
though.
I feel you're one of those guests where I have to tell them live on the podcast while everybody's watching and listening that I need a part two because
Ah,
there's a whole lot of things. There's a whole lot of things I did not get in on the podcast, and I'm like, I want to respect the time. I want to respect it, and I'm telling you, I've never done this in 6 years that I've ever done this. I've never told the guests in their face live on the podcast, man, I need a return match, and I need a
you
return
know,
match, and I need that return match. So you're gonna give me that return match still
you
this
know
year.
what?
So I'm
You
not.
know what? Let's leave it to the audience. Audience, whatever the audience says, you guys should comment. Let's know if NOMSO will return for a part two. You guys should comment. So
You
we
had
know
it
if
there.
NOMSO will be back here. So let the audience, let
Thank
the audience decide.
you. All right, so
Yeah.
you refugee. So I just have two more questions and we are done here. So refugee, started a campus ambassador program, and I saw that on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, amazing! On the refugee app, you can follow refugee on LinkedIn. You can check them on social media platform www.refreeg.com. Check for more details and everything. So what's that program all about? Because I was looking at that, I'm like, man, if ambassadorship program is going on for the campus for now university, I believe. I don't know if it extends to other campuses,
Okay.
but I
So
mean, come on, what does a boy need to do to get in on the program?
okay. The refugee ambassador program is the it's a campus program whereby
Okay.
students basically promote refugee on their campus and they get merch. You understand? We have refugee shirts, refugee stickers, and yeah, that's basically what the ambassador program is, and it's for students specifically because, like, we're trying to create there's a thing that I learned from Adeza. He was the one that introduced me to the concept. He calls it the network effect. The
Mm,
network effect, whereby when you when you let's say you have an idea now, I have an idea, and we build something now. I tell my friend about it, my friend tells his mom about it, his mom tells her friend about it, her friend tells her cousin about it. It's a network effect. You understand? And the way we want to
yes.
create that network effect is easier on campus with students. So that's why we have the ambassador program on. So yeah, it extends to all universities. We started in now university. We have ambassadors in this, ambassadors in America. So basically we're trying to keep up with the program, and yeah, refugee the refugee will spread all over. Trust, we are working hard towards that. It's not easy at all,
And
but
I'm not gonna
we're
wait for it. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm not gonna wait for it to start spreading when I'm here. So I definitely this one is not gonna be for the podcast audience. Sorry. So this is where I would tell you I can't wait to when we're done with this. I'm gonna hit you up because my head has exploded on what the possibilities of where we can take this, and I'll need to get that on you. But to end this, thank you so much once again, Chukwunomso,
thank
for
you for having
taking
me.
time
Thank you
to
for having me,
join.
Samuel.
But be, before you go, our closing question here
Yeah.
on the podcast is very close to me. I love this so much. And and the question goes thus: if this was to be the last conversation you ever have, and I'm the one at the receiving end, and the people that get to see and witness this are those that will get to watch this and listen to it on Spotify and everywhere else you get this podcast on. What would you want someone like me to never forget about someone like you right now? Sitting with me, talking to me right now.
Last conversation. Uh, about someone like me. Hey, well, I'm trying to think. Oh, this is a break cracking question. Um, I don't know how to say it, but I would say the let me just throw it out there. I think the open-minded and open to the possibilities of what can be. I think that's the best thing I can say about if it was the last thing I could tell somebody, the last conversation, because I would like to leave the person with something that they could think about
Yeah.
and change their life. I won't just tell them that, oh, be a good person, do good to people, be nice. That's just a generic thing. It is expected to be good to people. But one thing I'll say is open, let your
Yes.
mind be open to possibilities of what can be. Do not just and that brings
Yeah.
oh let me say that brings it back to that ties to exposure. You understand? the more things you experience, the more exposure you have, and the more decisions you can make based off exposure. You understand? The past influences our future decisions. Now
Yeah.
that I've built a startup, now that like 300 level me would not believe that current me is actually talking about taking risks like this. You understand? But that is what we are grateful for. The past affects the future decisions. So the last thing I would tell you guys, be open. Let your mind be open to the possibilities of what can be. So yeah, that is it. .com, yes. I'm sure it will be
I mean,
linked
sharp.
somewhere here.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I'm definitely gonna make that done. And for those that catch this live on the you get to watch this. So thank you so much, Chukwunomso, and congratulations. We
Woo!
can't wait to have you for part
Amen.
two.
Amen.
Later in the year.
Amen.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Now have a good night.